Hi everyone, welcome back to the Sports Breakdown once again. So today we are doing the review of the second 2020 between India versus Sri Lanka. A convincing win for India once again, and they collect yet another Paytm trophy. So we have Mr. Dhananjaya from Edges Sledges Cricket Podcast for the first time. So thank you so much for joining the Sports Breakdown. It's a pleasure to have you.
It's
And
great to be on, Pawan. Thanks for inviting me.
yeah, no problem, no problem. And then we have Paji sir once again who joined us from, from the Rajasthan Fans Forum. So thank you so much, Paji sir. We have Tanish from Cricket Understumps and we have Varun from Cricket Chat Score to discuss on India versus Sri Lanka second 2020 match, which was a classic match obviously, but unfortunately India easily chased it in the second innings. But before starting, I just want a small introduction from you, Dhananjay, on how you started the Edges and Sledges podcast to the people who are watching, if
Oh wow,
possible.
it's first of all, thank you for inviting me on the show. It's really good to connect. Obviously, not that many Sri Lankan channels that support Sri Lankan cricket. There are a few Twitter accounts
Yeah.
which I think I've muted. Hashtag cricket. But anyway, yes. So how did we start the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast? So I used to listen to a lot of podcasts, and my friend Varun and his brother, we used to write a blog called One Tip One Hand. Now, if you're from India, you know that One Tip One Hand is the gully cricket rule, where it was meant to be a lighter take on cricket. Like you obviously had the big experts, the Harsha Bhogle, the Sanjay Manjrekars, the Ian Chappells of the world talking cricket, but I felt that there wasn't something where the fans got together and it was fan led. So it's an amateur cricket podcast. It's grown into something bigger than we thought it was. It was a way of the three of us keeping in touch, and it's now coming up to almost 4 years. It started in 2018. We
Wow.
have 215
Wow.
episodes out. We do a episode every Monday, and we're focused on Indian cricket and the IPL. So if you like that sort of stuff, and it's light, it's banter, it's chat, it's three of us. We like chatting with each other, and it's just fun. So there's a bunch of inside jokes and stuff. So yeah, if you like
Yes.
that sort of stuff, give us a follow and a like. We're at One Tip One Hand on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast is also on YouTube now. So the
Yeah. So
pandemic
I
let
put
us.
all the links also on the video description. So anyone who's interested can check on that video description after we discuss this review. Yeah. So thank you so much for that introduction. Let's go straight away to the match. So in Dharmashala, we feared that there will be rain today, Varun, but unfortunately, we got a game today. 40 overs, full 40 overs. Everyone was saying there will be rain. Today, 60% prediction of rain. Even a lot of friends of mine said it will rain and no match today, but we got the full 40 overs match and it was good to see. And Sri Lanka obviously won the toss and chose to field first. India were unchanged. Sri Lanka made two changes. But coming to the first innings of Sri Lanka, Varun, your thoughts, especially on that opening partnership?
I think that's what Sri Lanka needed. I mean, if you go to Australia as well and the first T20 against India, they were not as impressive. But coming into the second T20 and new Dharmashala, they perform magnificently. And that's what you need from us, this team Sri Lanka, right? You need a good start and then, you need your middle order to accelerate at the end. That quite didn't happen, but the lower order really performed very well. The captain, dasunshanaka, he performed a gem of an innings to get to such a big total, like 182, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
183. Sorry. Yeah,
183,
183.
183.
The lower order performed very well. I think that's what you need, a captain's knock, first of all. Or else, it could have been somewhat 130, 140. That's like the average score. But you got to 183. That was brilliant. But, going on to the Indian, for the first 8 overs of the chase, it was a contest for India, but it turned out to be a no contest for India, once they are
Yeah, we'll
starting.
talk about the second innings later. Yeah, we'll talk about the second innings later about that disappointment. But Pajis are coming to you, and good to see this from Dasunshanaka, especially 47 of 19. But especially I have to talk about Pathum Nisanka, how good he was, especially that over to Bumrah. I think that was 12 or 13 runs in that 18th over. So overall, I think this was definitely a batting pitch, and Sri Lanka should have, in fact, got 200. Seeing this pitch and how India easily chased this, do you feel they were like 15 or 20 runs short? Even we were saying average score is 140, but I don't see in this pitch, and especially when it rained in the morning, definitely it would be for the bowlers will definitely struggle gripping the ball, especially for fast bowlers. So, do you
Yeah.
feel like this was a 200 pitch?
It could be because when I was watching it again, I was remembering trying to watch Kings 11 Punjab as they were known that time, play a lot of games at Dharmashala, and I thought 185, 186 would be a good score. But again, for Sri Lanka to get 183 from where they were, it was absolutely amazing. And we weren't going to think. We thought that India were going to win by 60 runs easy at the start of the match, but the Sank Dasun, the captain, he played really well. And that over that of Bumrah, they did that. But we have to talk about the man of the moment, and that is Harshal Purple Patel. Purple patch of 52 runs, got his half century, and what's happened there. RCB fans were quaking in their boots because they're going to see a lot of that. Come Mumbai when the IPL starts. So really,
thank you for reminding that, Paji sir. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah,
happy Sri Lanka did well, but another Paytm trophy to India. That's it now.
Yeah. Dhananjaya, coming to you. I mean, talking about this Indian bowling, especially. I mean, Bumrah was really impressive, and Chahal, very underrated, but he's been doing so far since he's come back. So, your thoughts also on the Indian bowling?
Yeah, it was actually quite a tricky pitch to start, and there was lots of seam, swing. There was quite a lot of attacking intent from the Sri Lankan batsman. But of course, I mean, Bumrah is a class act. Even after that over that we've been discussing, his analysis is run a ball, right? And in T20 cricket, that's like gold. So yeah, I think Harshal Patel had an off day, but he's that sort of bowler. So on a day where he doesn't bowl well, he will go for runs. We remember the last IPL. I think Jadeja took him for 37 runs in one over.
Yeah.
So I mean, he is that kind of bowler. But this is all good experience for him. Yuzi Chahal, class act. Chelly's been a champion for years. Really happy that he's in form. He'll be a key performer for India come the World T20. But yeah, I mean, good contest between bat and ball. I really enjoyed those first 5-6 overs with the Sri Lankan batsman managing not to lose a wicket against some quite good bowling up front. And I think Rohit sort of took his foot off the gas a little bit because he wanted some runs to chase, bringing in Harshal Patel, because he could have bowled maybe Bhuvi for another over, maybe Bumrah another over, but he wanted to test out the rest of the team as well, I think. So yeah, good performance overall. 183 was a great score. It was a great score. Jadeja as well went for runs, but then picked up that wicket.
But Dhananjay, do you feel like this was a 200 pitch? Maybe seeing that Indian chase, do you feel like even though they say Dharmashala average score is 140, after it rained perhaps today, do you feel like the fast bowlers, especially both teams, I think struggled to grip the ball, and we saw that especially with Sri Lanka in the second innings. Most likely could have been duos are coming, especially with the cold conditions, and yeah. But do you feel like it was sort of a 200 or 205 pitch?
The 200 it's a good score in T20. We must remember that. I think saying 200 is a pass score is a really rough thing to say. I think Sri Lanka really batted well. 183, they just didn't have the resources to defend that, and that's the honest truth. I mean, you saw the Jadeja and Shreyas Iyer assault, right? And I mean, once you have class like that, and if you're dropping catches, that's not going to help you. If you're letting the ball go through your legs to the boundary, that isn't going to help you either. So, I mean, I don't think it was the batting that let Sri Lanka down there. I think the batting did extremely well. The captain, fantastic knock, like 47 of 19.
Yeah.
It's really good to see Sri Lankan cricket getting strong again, and these are the guys that are going to bring them back to the top. It's only been 8 years since Sri Lanka won the T20 World Cup, right? So,
yeah, 7.5 years. Yeah. But Ashutosh, coming to you, Ashutosh, you said here in your comment, in order to compete against, they need to win convincingly against associate nations and then play against India. But I think we played a 2020 World Cup qualifiers. I think we won all 3 matches before we came the 2020 World Cup. We played, we played the 5 groups. We won 2 matches in the 2020 World Cup. So, what's your comment? What does it mean? I mean, when you're saying, like that, to play more against the associate nations.
Yeah, let me correct it. So Sri Lanka is the first time they had to play the qualifiers. So that is itself a downgrade for them. Never did they had to play such qualifiers to qualify for the World Cup. Is this the Sri Lankan standard set up by the previous Sri Lankan teams? That was my question, basically. Now let answer me that.
See, can I answer that? If
Yeah,
I
Yes.
okay, Ayush,
see,
yeah,
I
sure.
see, agree. It's not of the same level, but yeah, Sri Lanka is not that bad. Also, that they have to play with associate nations. Yeah, Sri Lanka, and one thing we are forgetting is that Sri Lanka is missing Tikshana and Hasaranga, the two one of the best spinners they have. Hasaranga world class, Tikshana not maybe not world class, but yeah. So that is the reason why in the middle overs they had to suffer so much, and that's why you had to maybe bring back Kumara for an over or something, right? You Jai
Yeah,
Vikrama is a decent
exactly.
spinner, but he's more of a restrictive
Yeah,
role.
he's suited to test. Yeah,
Test
that's what
matches,
I
Pawan,
was
I
could I
saying.
think
add something to Ayush's point though?
Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah,
don't
go
have.
on,
Uh, yeah,
go on.
I'm not too sure why, but also an explosive middle order batsman like Niroshan Dikwella is sitting on the bench. Either is it due to COVID or maybe due to the smoking, but I don't know. He's in the squad though, so he
Who?
is
He's
eligible
back
for
now.
selection.
Dikwala.
Who?
Yeah, yeah,
Dikwala.
yeah. Dikwella, Niroshan Dikwella.
No, no,
I
he's in
mean,
the squad.
see,
I don't know why he didn't play
exactly,
today.
exactly. The point is, Chandimal was never a T20 batsman for me and Pawan. You must have been following
Yeah,
Sri
I
Lanka
agree.
cricket for
I
much
agree.
longer.
I agree. Yeah,
Chandimal might be a better wicket keeper, but if it came to that, then Saha would be playing for us in T20s. So I think
And
it's
to add to that,
it's much better that they get Digwella in. He'll give you the required high scoring run rate, and he's a
yeah.
decent keeping option. He isn't that bad. He used to be a test starter for you
No,
guys.
I think you
Hmm.
are missing Rajapaksa a lot though.
Yeah, yeah,
Rajapaksa.
Yeah, but let's
yeah.
not talk into that. Let's not talk into the Sri Lanka Cricket Board not picking Bhanuka in the squad because
Bring
it's
back
his
Bhanuka.
personal reasons. It's his fault that he wasn't picked. I mean, he has to pass his fitness test before he gets
Yep.
picked in the squad. He hasn't done that, so we cannot speak much on Bhanuka until he gets picked in that squad. Yeah, but coming to
but
Aryan
how
also,
Chandimal gets selected? I have one question. How does Chandimal get selected? He's averaging very less and he's having
Sir,
strike rate
just
also
like
very less.
Unadkat gets selected for Rajasthan, probably that is all. I don't see any other reason why. I don't see any other reason why.
Don't say anything about Lord. Don't say anything about Lord.
Yes, agreed.
yeah,
Agreed.
Chandimal
110%.
has better
yeah.
108%
Lanka
agreed
Premier
with
League.
Rohan. Yeah.
Yeah, he's saying based on conditions, Harshal needs to be picked on slower pitches. Here, Siraj or Avesh better choice.
Totally agree. But see, I think they want to give Harshal a longer rope. Also consider see, I think if you pick a pacer just because a pitch is slow, that might not do justice to his selection, right? Because then pacer will be like if you're selecting a pacer just because he can bowl good cutters doesn't make a lot of sense. But now this might be an eye opener for us that Harshal might not be the best bowler in batting friendly conditions, but it's just one match. Everybody has an off day, so I think too
Yeah,
early to
true.
call it.
He'll have 14 matches on good batting wickets. We'll see after the IPL how he
Precisely.
He'll
performs.
get his
I
14
think I
games in
think I think
IPL
RCB
based on that.
fans
We can
should
pick him
already
again.
prepare themselves for the worst.
Yeah,
And you
they
have
have
to
to
remember
prepare for
the
the worst case.
10.75 crore that they spent on him, but we only worth 1 crore at the end of the season. So that's what we hope to happen at the day.
Paji, I have no idea why. See, if they had to go for almost 11 crores, why didn't they just retain him? I know it might have
Yeah,
been an issue with the
Yuvraj
money, like he
Chahal
would
No,
have
was
said,
I
second
heard in
line.
some news that they wanted to release him so that he could get a hefty price.
Yeah.
That is just PR,
"Sense,
nothing else.
where is
hmm,
Mike
Yes.
Hesden? I need to see him soon."
yeah. But coming back,
Pawan, you were
Aryan,
asking something.
yeah, Aryan, you were coming to Nisanka. You were talking about Nisanka, and I know, I mean, Nisanka was playing really, really well, but unfortunately, he got dismissed. Trying to scoop the shot once again with Bhuvneshwar Kumar. He tried the same thing as what he did with Bumrah. But talking about Nisanka, is that a sign of a future? And this shows, I mean, his consistency. Also, we saw in the
He
Australian tour, he scored
see,
half century. Also, I think 240 pluses as well. So, yeah, your thoughts? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I really liked his performances first of all in Australia, and now he's following it up with a good knock, which shows that you don't always need to have big muscles or to be successful in T20 cricket. You can be successful, but my only question now is, can he keep increasing his strike rate consistently after a slow start? Can he make up for those starts consistently? Because he went off to a steady start, but then he caught up today. Okay, but what about the future games? If he does this consistently, Sri Lanka are in good hands because the one end is secured. The Sanka is securing one end, and others can play their aggressive game. But I'm really impressed, by the way this cricketer has come up, especially starting off with the West Indies Test series, and now to play today's innings, and I want to see him, keep the strike rate up, keep the strike rate up if he goes on, to bat at the end. Yeah,
Also, I'll
impressed
just
by
add
him.
one thing and a question for everybody. Don't you think Shanaka is batting a bit low in the order? Maybe if he comes in at 5 and you get in
Possibly, I think with his
another.
But
form, I think he can come above
yeah,
Chandimal.
yeah.
I think Chandimal
But
shouldn't be in this
you know
top
what?
10.
I think I'm sorry to interrupt, but see,
Yeah,
I know Dasunshanaka did play really well today. But if you just have a look at his batting numbers, they're not great. I mean, he has a strike rate of 110 in T20 internationals. That
yeah,
isn't
but I
pretty. See,
think in
I
recent
know he can
form,
tong the ball really well, but he's always been a number 6, number 7 sort of batsman. Who will play 10, 12 balls at max and give you 25 odd runs.
That's why
But
I'm saying to
also,
maximize him.
listen. Even
Give
if
him
you
a
see in
time.
today, yeah, I sort of see, because he's played this innings. We're saying this, but I don't know. I think number 6 is suitable for him.
I
yeah.
don't think. I think 5.
Coming to Tanish also, Johan is asking Pawan isn't, sorry, for me, he's asking Pawan isn't Pathum a number 3 batsman, but you can answer that, Tanish. Yeah, since we didn't get you involved. Yeah.
Actually, as far as now, I've not observed him very well, but I think that he can perform well, or maybe actually I don't know him really well in number 3. Actually, I've not followed him batting.
Hmm. Very true. Ashutosh, we
Yeah,
will come
maybe
back to
what
the Indian performance. Yeah, let's come to the Indian second innings actually and talk about Ishan Kishan. You have a very valid point here. Why isn't Ruturaj Gaikwad yet tested? And do you think Ashutosh will be given a chance in the third 2020?
No, he's out,
Very
bro.
injury.
Ruturaj is
Out.
out
He
of
has
this
been ruled
series.
out.
Yeah,
He's been
he's out.
ruled out.
He's out. Sorry. Yeah,
He's
yeah,
been
he's
ruled
out.
out.
Yeah.
He hurt himself during training before the
Yeah,
toss
yeah.
during the last game.
I think
No, the
Ashutosh
power.
says now same five
Mayank
chances to
Agarwal
Ruturaj.
is there as a replacement, but obviously you'd rather give Ishan Kishan a chance than Mayank Agarwal. So
No. The point I was making, Pawan, is that you have given
Yeah,
5 chances to Ishan Kishan. He failed
yeah,
in the 4 and he scored
yeah,
in the 1. The same
yeah.
should be given to Ruturaj. Play him for
I
5 matches
I
and
agree.
then see. Don't just drop him after playing 1 game.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. Dhananjay, your thoughts also on Ishan Kishan's batting and especially
but
those 2 wickets. I mean, Rohit Sharma getting out early and then Ishan Kishan. So, I mean, 2 wickets in that power play. And if Sri Lanka got one more wicket, I think that power play that could have been really, really crucial for Sri Lanka, but unfortunately it didn't. So, your thoughts in that first 6 overs from India?
Yeah, so I'm actually a Kishan fan. I like the way he plays, and he is one of those players who will score runs in one innings and fail in 4. But in that one innings, what an innings it'll be, right? And what he gives, and over Ruturaj, I think where Ruturaj loses out, and it's no fault of his because he's a fantastic player, IPL Orange Cap winner in the last round. It's simply that Kishan's a left-hander and he keeps wicket. Without Pant in this side, he's the natural kind of guy who goes in right on top. And I agree. Ruturaj hasn't been given enough chances, but I think there are enough people contending for that top slot anyway. I don't think Rutu's going to get a look in anyway for the World Cup. You've got KL Rahul. who
also
hasn't-
adding to your point, the problem now is that there's just one Sri Lanka T20, and then you have T20s in South Africa and England, which would be your preparation for the World Cup alongside the IPL. So I think they'd prefer playing their best 11, in the
Yeah.
in those matches, because see, they also need to look at how this team, how these players work in a team, because I don't remember them playing their best 11. I mean, wherein they've put in their best player at each spot in a game for a long time, especially in T20s. So maybe when Rahul is back, Pant, Surya Kumar, all of them are fit. They also need to check their bowling lineup, because I think somebody like a Mohammad Shami is still in the reckoning. So I don't know. Ayush and you were discussing the other day. Maybe somebody like a Shivam Dube they might think of. I know I might be getting pelters for this, but just a name.
Shah, are you crazy, Shivam Dube? Why?
No,
Why
Shivam
Dube
Dube,
is like
I'm
a
a
budget
fan of Shivam
IR, and
Dube.
who's a budget Pandya, right? So there's no way that there's any.
Yeah,
any
he's a
That's
Bogax
that's
Pandya, but
yeah,
yeah.
This is argument, Shan.
And
I
also,
just
I
see
don't,
outside.
I think
also, I don't get why Venkatesh Iyer didn't bowl any overs. I mean, he could have easily bowled as a 6 bowler, right? Today,
Yeah.
seeing Sri Lanka as
Pawan, I
obviously
think
seeing the
I
See, I
think
rankings.
think that the
he
thing is,
he
see,
wanted
it is
to he
16.
wanted to Rohit wanted to have a situation wherein, for example, if you're playing a semi-final, a crunch game,
Yeah,
so we would back our 5 strike bowlers, right? So I think he wanted
yeah,
to somewhere create that kind of a scenario today, and he
And
yeah,
wanted to see how we go in that regard than just bowl
and
our 5
yeah,
bowlers. I think
He
that
wanted
was
Harsha Patel to get his 50. That's why he
And more than and more than that, I think see till the 16th over, India were quite good.
Yeah.
They got hit in the last 4 overs. So obviously, in
Yeah.
last 4 overs, you won't give Venkatesh Iyer, right?
Mm.
If India were getting hit in the middle overs, then maybe Venkatesh Iyer had a case.
That's right.
But also I have one point. I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, it's too early to call it as as you mentioned it. But if you remember, during the last game, he was taken to the cleaners by somebody like Dushmanthan Chamira. So I don't think India is very very confident of his bowling at this
I
point.
agree.
They might want him to work on it during the IPL. They might ask KKR to give him few crunch overs or try to give him 2 to 3 overs per game. Also, there's news of him working with an Indore based coach, which helps him bowl faster and more accurately. So yeah, but he's a great. He might be a great asset to this team.
I don't want to get into the details, but even Venkatesh Iyer doesn't seem to be having the body of a like the athletic body to have offer pace bowling all rounder over a long time. Okay.
So I think what you're looking at Iyer really, to my mind, is when somebody gets injured, like a Deepak Chahar gets injured, he can fill in those overs because otherwise there's nobody. You have to remember a sixth bowler, unless you're playing in an Australian team of the early 2000s or whatever, a sixth bowler is only relevant realistically when there's an injury. These bowlers aren't going to be an option when your big bowlers, Bhuvis and Bumrahs, have gone for runs. Are you going to actually hand the ball to Venkatesh Iyer or a Hardik Pandey? It doesn't make sense. Those guys are in there for that job. So to me, it's only in the midst of an innings where somebody's got injured and then you need to finish that guy's quotas. And we don't actually have anybody who can do that in this side. So I think that's the role these guys play. They're able to bowl, but they're not. If you're going at 12 runs and over, you're not going to hand the ball to Iyer. You're going to hand it to Bumrah.
Yeah. But you've also got Jadeja. Jadeja is the big game changer. You've got the left-hand batsman, and you've got the guy who can bowl the 4 overs, come what may. So I think Jadeja is the big thing. Would they go with the Chahal? That's the question India have to do in Australia. In India, you definitely go for the 2. Would they go for one of them in Australia, or would they go for the extra spacer? Because today we found out Arshal is not good enough for Australia, because in Australia he will get absolutely smacked. I'm ready to go to Edgbaston for the India versus England game at Edgbaston, and I'm worried. I'm worried to see Harsha ball on that pitch, because I think the ball will be on the Persian road. So I think realistically, India learned a lesson today. They've got to make sure that the bowling is on point, and they need a left-hand bowler or an Umar Malik. Because it was disgraceful today, because Kumara was the fastest bowler there.
Yeah. So
But people are talking about this guy should come in, that guy should come in. Why are we not talking about Shreyas Iyer finding a regular spot when all of the big guns come back?
But Aryan, you know what? I mean, see, he's been terrific in the past 2 games, but also having a look at the fact the sort of opponents he's facing. 2, the sort of bowling he's been facing. See, today,
I don't care. He's scoring.
No, wait up.
He's scoring runs.
See, fact of the matter is, even somebody like Faiz Fazal scored a 50 against Zimbabwe. He didn't play a game after that.
But Shreyas Iyer is too good at the moment to be left out.
Listen up. See, the fact is, Shreyas Iyer will be filling in at number 4.
Don't worry. Aryan is just here to create controversy. Clearly understands
Yeah.
Shreyas Iyer has no batting.
See, I want to set him right. Aryan, tell me who's more versatile, Shreyas Iyer or Surya Kumar? If your answer is Shreyas Iyer, I'm sorry, I'm out.
No, Shreyas Iyer is not that versatile, but Surya Kumar will be in. I think Shreyas Iyer needs to.
Sharp Tank. ये मेरी expertise नहीं है. ये batting position नहीं बैठेगी, इसलिए I am out.
मैंने खत्म कर दिया सीजन. ऐसा कुछ होता ही नहीं है. Your best 4 batsmen need to bat the 20 overs.
See,
Aryan has only one place where Iyer can bat is at Rishabh Pant's position if need be.
The simple case is just to put Kohli out of the team. That's the only solution. Then both Shreyas Iyer and Sky are in the team.
Then
Kohli.
In Australia, in those big grounds, if you don't have Kohli or those double singles, just
I mean, Kohli is going to be crucial for us.
Who's talking about taking Kohli out? We need Kohli, obviously, but
Hey, guys,
you need Kohli out, then you're out of the World Cup also. I'm sorry to say.
I just joined for asking one question which Pawan ignored from the comments.
Sorry. Yeah, I did. I was going to come to that.
No, you were not.
Yes. I was going
You
to
were not. You were tired of
All
arguing
right,
just
bring
today.
it on, buddy.
There's so many people to handle anyways. Yeah. But yeah, you can answer.
Liar. The question is, What do you say about the lack of intent by the Sri Lankan fielding? So many balls, boundaries went just like a couple of feet. There was not a single dive.
I mean, that one catch
Players have
from
given
Bruno
up.
Fernando was good, but the rest, I mean, the rest of the fielders were
Wait.
really bad.
First of
And
all, that ball got
Because of the
stuck in
fluke,
his
man.
hand. Ball got stuck in his hand. Don't give him
Yeah,
credit
yeah.
for that. He bowled a
but
very poor
who
over
knows?
after
Who
that.
knows if that even didn't stuck? If he had some sweat or something,
I
that could
know
have easily
it
dropped.
looked like it was clear, pathetic review that was one. For Sanju Samson.
Yeah, but you know, if you have a look at the replay, Shanaka was indicating that there was an edge. Who convinced him to go for it? I have no idea.
I don't
Even
know.
the bowler,
I also
even
don't
the
know.
The
bowler
bowler
wasn't
was
convinced.
yeah, even the
I
bowler
think
was
bowler.
shocked when he took the DRS.
You know, it
Jet
was
lag.
similar.
Sanju
It was
Samson.
similar
No,
to
yeah.
the DRS when Mushfiqur Rahim took against Kohli during India-Bangladesh Test match. If you guys remember.
Yeah. Very poor review, by the way, by Sri Lanka. That I have to admit. I don't know who convinced Chanaka to go upstairs, but
Someone
that
was
is
talking about
bad.
batting. I
I
was
think
not
some
sure whether someone was telling Shanaka that there's something related to bat. He was speaking in Sinhalese, I
it was
guess, but I was not sure
clearly
whether.
getting a hit. Yeah, it was
No,
clearly
my question is whether he was he saying is it touched the bat or has it not touched the bat? Like what was he saying? I didn't
No, he
understand.
was indicating, as in, if you see his gestures, he was clearly saying, "Yaar, laga hai." I mean, not
like
in Hindi,
this.
of course, but
yeah, very poor. But talking about the fielding, I think Sri Lanka were just off. I think today, really terrible.
they took
And
fielding
one of the
lessons from
one of the
Pakistan, I
funniest
guess.
one of the funniest cases was in during 15th or 16th over where Shreyas hit a long one, ball to long
I
one.
think it was dropped. It was dropped. Yeah,
No,
in
it was
20.
it was not a catch option. He went down to field. The ball didn't touch his hand. It bounced off his knee and went back. I was like, dude, at least touch the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Surprising.
ball was with the fielder, but he
You know, but-
later dropped it maybe due to something due or some other factor.
Yeah, but
Catch
even in the
understand.
previous game,
They dropped
even in the
Sanju
previous
as
game,
well,
if you
so-
remember, there was a high ball to long on or long off, and it was probably Shanaka's catch, but I think Javik Rava or somebody else went for it, and they weren't even close. So their fielding has been appalling, and I know they'll work on it definitely, but yeah, it hasn't been great in the past 2 games. Even India
Yeah,
have
I
dropped
don't know.
catches.
But
So-
listen,
Yeah, very,
one thing
very
I want to
bad.
ask.
I don't know if they have a
Abhishek and the
fielding
rest
coach right
also,
now in the
that
staff.
looking at today's pitch, it was quite fast and lively. Okay, at times.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, because see, whenever we analyze, we should have an eye towards Australia, and we should compare. So, do you think it's a bit? He's not playing now because I am comparing. Who was the guy who hit him in the head? Ishan in the head. Kumara.
Kumara.
So see,
He
Kumara
was
and
breathing
Mohammad
fire
Shami
today,
are
mate.
sort of similar bowlers. Okay, pitch up, and pace. So do you think Dhananjaya and maybe anybody wants to answer because even he got wickets, but even he got hit badly. So do you think we need somebody like that without not many variations in the team, like Mohammad Shami? Like I honestly feel Mohammad Shami's time is up in T20s. What do you guys think?
But not in Australia. That's why I think in Australia will suit Mohammed Shami. I
See-
think you don't have any dew factor there. The wickets are harder, so I think Shami still be a threat in Australia. But as I say,
Still,
I would like
he
Imran
puts a
Malik
lot
to
of
be given
runs.
a
I
chance,
feel
and Arshdeep. Arshdeep needs to be given a chance because we've
So,
got the
yeah, guys, I think the news is out that Mumbai Indians are playing KKR for some reason on the 26th. That is what I'm hearing from one source. This is crazy,
That's
but
out
this
of the
source
blue,
is
but okay.
actually reliable, and I don't know why I'm hearing this, but
So
this is the
it's
news
usually
I've
the
got.
defending champions, who plays.
Yeah, I
Schedule is
don't know.
out.
I don't know what is happening. It's
the
Ambani
schedule out?
involvement. I don't know, but I think the opener is
What
confirmed.
will Ambani get out of this? I mean,
Nani, that is what I'm saying. Aryan is clearly trying to get some controversy
Yeah,
here,
he's just
calling
trying
to-
Ambani
No,
for
no,
no
no.
reason
Arey,
at all.
Aisha Mumbai are playing KKR. This is crazy. I don't
know.
know.
Let's wait until the IPL confirms that before
Yeah,
we
but
come
You
to
should
the
be you should
opening
be
match
excited. Now
schedule.
you supported Kolkata Knight Riders in the mock auction.
No, I'm not excited. That was Arey, yaar, I got the team half an hour. The guy backed out. I didn't have any team. Half an hour before I got.
It's
the team.
fine.
Okay,
See, it's
guys, let's
past
go
is
back to the
past.
topic.
Let's get back to what we were
Let's go.
discussing.
Let's answer Ashutosh's
chala gaya
comment
wo.
here. Yeah. Who left? Somebody left.
Aryan left.
Cut gaya.
Aryan left. Okay. If Rohit finds a way
He's
to
going to
make
talk
Iyer
to his
and
source.
Sai, bat at 3 and 4, India score 200 most time as they score from ball one.
We
Varun
did
and
that.
then
We
Venkat
discussed that.
Madhav.
There is no way to accommodate them. Like the only
I'm
way
out.
possible that we can see is maybe a Kohli opening with Iyer coming at 3, maybe Sky at 4. Then the question comes at where is KL Rahul back? And if you are including KL Rahul, then the Venkatesh share goes down till 8. Then we are lacking in pace department. Then we don't have that extra bowling option. It gets into a lot of mess.
See, I think if Rohit and Rahul can play to their absolute best, I mean, we've seen how explosive Rohit can be. I mean, all of us consider that Rohit will be someone who will
Sharp,
try
but the
to anchor
question
the
is,
innings.
who is not explosive in the current options that India has?
No, see, exactly my point. See, the openers can score 50 out of the first 6. See, I know Kohli hasn't been in the greatest of form, but I expect him to.
See,
No,
everyone
he's
doesn't
in
expect
fantastic
this
form.
for
The guy has 750s in 13 innings. If that is bad,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
what is
yeah.
good?
No. See, my point is relatively. I mean, yeah, of course, he has an average of 47 in past 2 years in ODIs. He doesn't have a century. So I'm saying relatively, somebody who has a 59 ODI average, he is averaging 47. It's excellent for a normal guy, but not for him.
But did you
In
see
that
his
sense.
pace in the first 9-10 balls? He's still struggling with real pace. If you see who has he smashed, he has smashed Jay Vikrama.
James Faulkner, bro.
No, I'm talking about Sreya Iyer. Jay Vikrama he smashed today. He smashed Karunaratne and all that. So that's what I'm saying. Iyer is still not an option for in the playing 11. If you
That
want
was
to
the point I was
replace
trying
Rohit,
to make to Aryan
But
earlier on,
definitely
but
in
he
the
was
squad.
like, I don't give a damn.
because
But
you need
definitely in the squad.
because see the runs is going to be 160 to 170 in Australia, majorly. So big grounds, you need somebody to run. Although everybody can run fast, I know Kohli can also, but the accumulator, a bit accumulation role you need
Rohit.
in the middle.
Yeah. And coming to Varun, Krishna has asked here, couldn't understand the inclusion of Deepak Kuda. He's coming very late. We have 2 all-rounders already. What if for tomorrow
Mayank,
Mayank Rohit to open or Mayank at 3?
It's
bro,
Varun,
not.
I
yeah.
think it's
It's
time
not
to
But
a
he's
try.
making
It's
a
not a
very, very
try
valid
playing
point.
all rounders.
Okay,
You
one at
can
a
even
time.
play 11 all rounders
guy.
in a team, and it's not a problem. You'll have many bowling. See, Paytm series are mainly for finding out new talents. IPL is there.
Really?
We're still
Really?
95 new players.
Really?
Controversial topic incoming, brother.
Paytm series are meant for trying new talent? What?
No, but on a serious note,
Is it a World Cup? Is it a
No,
World Cup to
Varun,
try
Varun,
new
Varun,
talent?
Varun. You know what? I totally don't disagree with what Krishna has to say. Why? Because see, everybody knows that Jadeja will be part of things even for the World T20 squad. But if you look at Deepak Kuda, he's not being given the ball. I know it might not be required, but he's not being given the ball. You're sending in Jadeja ahead of him, even though Jadeja is more or less a guaranteed starter for you. So yeah, I'm sort of confused because Deepak Huda, if he has to play, he'll play as a finisher. If you don't give him a few chances here and there, like see where Jadeja came in today, he could have come in because even though he's done well in the domestic circuit, if he doesn't get the chances or if he hasn't been put to test in the national colours, he might not be able to do it when the big stage arrives.
There is
Very
no
true,
way.
yeah.
Just making the squad. The question is, what is the squad size that are going to allow to Australia squad one?
15
Second
plus
thing is
4,
if you're-
right?
But consider that also, na. Out of that 15, 6 will be your bowling options.
No, I don't think Deepak Huda is going to make it to the squad.
He's not.
Yeah,
He's
Deepak
clearly
Kuda is
not.
just in here because Gaikwad isn't here. And Deepak Kuda is being looked at for the 2023 50 over World Cup. Precisely. The position he
Big
bats in,
call.
you don't need him in the T20. He's not going to Australia for sure. Unless you send 2021, then even Shalf can come.
But bro, if you look at the ODI setup also, if you're telling me that we're looking at him for the 2023 thing, then where does he fit in? Because
just a
then
backup, bro. Just a backup.
because in that case, KL Rahul comes in the middle order. It's not like T20.
Just
So
a
your middle
backup,
order is
sir,
even
just
more
a
stacked.
backup. I think the role Jadeja is about to play in 2022 or 2023, a bit of a not obviously like for like, but yeah, in that role.
Yeah, I sort of agree. Yeah. Maybe
In
as a
that role.
Jadeja backup. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then have we
coming to
discarded Akshar
Dhananjaya.
Patel?
Yeah.
Akshar Patel, the
Let's
problem is you need a predominantly good batter also, na 50 over.
Yeah, he's not a great batsman. I agree.
coming to Dhananjaya once again. Ashutosh Shreyas's Kohli strike rate in last 3 years 150, 142, 138, whereas Rohit 138, 150, and 150.9 respective. And currently seeing his leadership
Can I
skills
add to
also
that, Pawan?
right now. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I really.
I'll
really
let everybody
wanted to
speak.
for this. Yeah. Sorry, mate.
But talking about Rohit's captaincy, it's been really, really good so far. And seeing this, but we have to see how he does in the ICC trophies, obviously. But seeing his captaincy right now, do you feel that there could be a change in this Indian team, perhaps in ICC trophy? Maybe they can go to that edge, like to the final, or perhaps win ICC trophy under Rohit Sharma.
So
Shah, you won't answer this.
I've got
Yeah.
flack
I'm not
about this.
speaking, mate.
I've got flack about this on our show actually, when I said, yes, you get credit when you're a captain for winning
Yeah.
ICC trophy. We do that with Dhoni. But
This is right.
if you're 5 for 3 in a World Cup semi-final, what is your captain going to do? If you're 17 for 3 against
Exactly.
Pakistan in the final, what is your captain going to do? The batsman.
Yeah, we've lost because of individual errors. It's not that we've lost because of poor decisions. Yeah, maybe they could have sent Dhoni up. That's all up for grabs.
Yeah, but I
still,
mean, at the end of the day, it's a team management. Rohit's been involved
Yeah.
with that as well, and he's a fantastic captain on field. I've really enjoyed his captaincy. He looks like he's enjoying it. He's got the respect of his teammates. He's there to win, and I mean, it's very interesting that we've handed him all 3 formats as well.
Yeah.
considering
But
his fitness.
subject to fitness, of course. But I mean, it really, I don't know whether Rohit's the fix for the lack of an ICC trophy. I mean, frankly, at the end of the day, there's only 2 people in the history of Indian cricket that have won ICC trophies.
Yep.
One is Kapil Dev, the other is MS Dhoni. So I think
No,
that
they shared the Champions Trophy with Sri Lanka, right? Who was the captain then? I don't remember.
Ganguly, yeah, Ganguly did. I think with
Ganguly,
Jaiswal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's come to Paji sir once again of Sanju Samson, and it's good to see him batting at number 4 and getting 39 of 25, making a case. But I know it's Sri Lanka though, but still, that makes a case. I mean, maybe if he gets a chance against a better team like England and Australia, if he performs like this as well, maybe he also could be under consideration of the squad. But Paji sir, your thoughts on Sanju Samson as well, making a place also.
Today we've seen Sanju, fit into the Indian jersey. I think with Sanju, the pressure is so much. He doesn't smile. He looks always tense when he plays for India. And today, as soon as he got the first 6, he was able to relax and enjoy playing for India. And we saw the power of his hitting. And this is why he deserves to be in and around the squad, because he can offer you that acceleration, at 4 or 5. And I think this is where India have been failing. 4, 5, and 6. If the top 2 go out quickly, where do those runs come from? And now I think Sky is in there, and I think Shreyas will be in there, but Sanju could be that 3rd player that we could possibly take. And again, the wicketkeeper, right-handed wicketkeeper option, because Ishan won't open. It'll be KL Rahul and it will be Rohit will open. Can Ishan Kishan bat at 4 or 5 with Pant? I don't think so. So I think the ideal one would be Sanju, but Sanju needs to be more confident. And it took a blinding catch to get him out today, because I think had he got through that one, I think we would have seen a good 70-80 from Sanju today.
So, but don't you think he'll be a batsman too much for consider just looking at this year's World Cup? A bit too much?
Yeah, I think we've got too many batsmen, but the thing is, it's a different type of batsman what we need. We've got Sky. Sanju is there to hit the big shot. So, if you take Deepak Kuda to win the team, why Sanju is like different level to him. So I think I really think Sanju won't get in the team, but I think he will spot some more time to get into the Indian team. And I think once he's established himself in the 11, he will feel good. And the only way, if Kohli gets injured, then Sanju comes in for me. That's what must happen.
Yeah. Coming to Tanish, Rohan here says last few games, big players in Rohit and Virat didn't contribute much. Youngsters in Sky, Pant, Sharais, Venkatesh Iyer, Kishan, and today Samson scored well. That's more better news as Indian fans. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah. See, absolutely, it's a very good news for Indian fans as the T20 World Cup is around. So what I would say is I would slightly agree with this statement, because see, we have seen Sky, Pant, Shreyas Iyer, Venkatesh Iyer, Ishan Kishan, and Sanju Samson performing well today. But I will surely agree with him that Rohit and Virat didn't perform in the past few matches. But if we have a look, Virat performed really well against West Indies in the I guess it was in the 3rd T20I, I guess. And Rohit also had his last 2 T20 innings really well. And hopefully if they try their best in the IPL, then it will be surely be beneficial for Team India, as well as the T20 World Cup will be just maybe 3 or 2 months away. So if they have a great IPL, then it will be beneficial for Team India as well. And with Sky performing, no doubt that he has sealed his place, and he's according to me, he's the perfect choice for number 4.
Yeah. And coming to Dhananjay once again, Tom here says Dharmashala is a very small ground and the conditions were very similar to Sri Lanka pitches back in the 2010 decade. Do you agree with this? Because I think the size was in one boundary field I think it was 56 meters, and then I think the others were around 65 70 meters if I'm not mistaken, the boundary lengths. But yeah, your thoughts on that? Yeah.
The boundary seemed okay, to be honest. And my memory of Sri Lankan grounds is that okay. It depends on where it is, right? Like I guess Colombo
Yeah.
is pretty big. Kandy's probably a bit smaller.
Yeah.
But I didn't think the ground dimensions were actually an issue. It was the deck was spicy, and I enjoyed that. That was good fun. But the batting was good. The ball came onto the bat once it stopped swinging.
Yeah.
You could score runs, and that was good to see the bowlers actually have a shout of being able to take wickets with the new ball, which I particularly enjoyed. I don't think that was the case with the Sri Lankan pitches and grounds in the 2010s. I think they were pretty flat.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very.
I
Yeah.
remember watching a lot of runs being scored on those grounds.
Very true.
600
And coming, yeah, I want to come to Ayush as well now, Jadeja, because it was his highest ever individual score, 45 or 14, if I'm not mistaken, today. His innings was really, really crucial today for India to finish off in good style. And that 58 or 26 balls also between Jadeja and Sharaj Ayal. Your thoughts on that? Ayush? Yeah. Okay, Ayush
He
isn't
might
there.
not be here.
Okay. Maybe Paji sir, yeah. Your thoughts on Jadeja?
Pushpa. That's all we have to say. Yeah, Jadeja, again, great to see him back. He's an important cog of Indian cricket in all three formats. In the field, he's probably India's best fielder. With the ball, he opts you the left-hand option, and with the bat, he gives you, 6 or 7. At that, he's on fire. So really happy with Jadeja, and I say they keep him fit and keep him in the squad. His place is booked. It's who goes with him is the big question. Do you take Chahal or do you take Aksar or Washington Sundar? I'm personally going to go for Aksar and Chahal as the three that you take to Australia. But Jadeja, he's first on the team sheet for me. Class player.
Yeah. And coming to the Dhananjay, before you leave, so you have to leave in 2 minutes. Do you see any changes happening to India in the third 2020? Will they experiment a bit? Maybe make like 4 to 5 changes? Or do you see again unchanged side from India since they won the PTM series, and maybe experiment with their bowling a bit because of what happened today?
Yeah, I think we will experiment. We saw even in the West Indies T20, the final one after winning the series, India had brought in Avesh and others. I'd like to see Siraj get a game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Although there is the prize, that this is the 11th consecutive win. And the record is 12 consecutive wins for T20s. Who knows? Maybe they'll go for the record. I mean, I don't know, but I expect them to actually spread the game time around. What they're using this, and I totally agree with I think Varun who said that. Who said that they're using the PTM series as an audition for the World Cup, right? And that is what you should use it for. You should give people game time. Jadeja coming up the order, smashing 45 of 18. I mean, you can't expect him to come on and do that in a World Cup final or a World Cup semi-final. You've got to give him the game time when the pressure isn't that high. And so the more you practice in those pressure situations, the better you're going to get him. I mean, the sad truth is that Sri Lanka isn't the team that it used to be. They're still a very good team. But this is the time that India should be using to build towards it. But I mean, honestly, Sri Lanka did really well today. At the halfway mark, I'd be I think I was worried of what we were going to talk about today, to be totally honest. Right?
Yeah, especially when we were 51 for 2 after 7 overs. I think all of us were pretty concerned.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for
having me. Thank you so much, Dhananjay, and hope to see you very soon. Yeah. Thank you so much. And please do subscribe. Yeah, please do subscribe to the Edges and Sledges.
Take care, mate. Good night.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much. Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye. Bye. See you. Yeah. So Tom here says now, guys, KKR versus MI officially announced IPL first match. Have we got the information yet on that? Or what is going on? Aryan also said that, and a lot of people.
Actually, I checked on the official IPL website. It is
Indian
there according to sources.
Yeah, according to sources, they've said Mumbai Indians will take on Kolkata Knight Riders from both John's Cricket and Mufadal also to mostly reliable Indian cricket journalists. But let's see, we'll get the confirmation from the IPL website before we come back. But most likely, but Varun, this is interesting, right? I mean, even coming to Shal, we'll come to Shal first because I haven't asked much questions. But MI
Yeah,
taking
no
on
worries.
KKR, I mean, defending champions usually play in that first match. But this is an interesting take from the
Yeah,
BCCI this
definitely.
time.
Yeah, I have no idea why. Maybe they're trying to just spice things up, or maybe just shuffle around a bit. But I think this might make up for an excellent game, because if you look at both teams, they do have their fair share of advantages, but there are gaping holes in both teams. If you look at somebody like a Mumbai, I mean, I don't think they planned their backups really well, and they sort of messed it up in the auction. I am a big Mumbai fan myself, but I'm not too confident in their chances this year. But yeah, still, even if you look at KKR, they have their fair share of holes. So I
Maybe
think I
they need
think
fans. Maybe they need fans at the IPL to start it off, because it's as it is in Mumbai. They thinking, yeah, if we allow fans in Mumbai, we might get a good crowd there. Otherwise, you don't know how many people will turn up. So maybe that's the reason why Mumbai are opening. And then obviously the Shah Rukh Khan factor. They've got the Shah Rukh Khan factor as well. So it'll be a good starter for publicity, marketing, and all that.
yeah.
Very true, very true. But coming back to Sri Lanka cricket, what are the lessons they have to learn? Because their fielding, especially Tanish, was really bad. And I know Sri Lanka after that first stage were very confident, but their bowling, especially, and seeing this from Lahiru Kumara once and once again, the third over went for 23 runs, and Sanju Samson was terrific in that over, scoring six sixes and eventually getting out. But what do you feel? I mean, the rankings, obviously, Sri Lanka at the bottom, they have to face the qualifiers, they're low in confidence. They have to face unfortunately, they have to face a 2020 World Cup qualifiers, maybe even a ODI World Cup qualifiers, very, very likely. I mean, a very big probability that they'll have to face that as well. So, your thoughts on the future of Sri Lanka cricket right now?
See, absolutely. I would say that maybe the Sri Lankan team missed Hasranga a lot because in the Australian series he was totally in his top form, I guess. And secondly, I would say that they need to have a look in their death bowling, and maybe the middle order. Like the middle order performed really well today, but
Yeah.
apart from that,
No, the middle order. I'm sorry, but their middle order was awful. If you look, their openers did well, but their only Dasunshanaka was somebody who got into double figures. Then number 3, 4, 5, nobody got into double digits. They were awful. If you just have a look. So their middle order is still a massive concern. If you ask me, they missed Avishka Fernando at number 3. They definitely missed somebody
Yeah,
like a Valendu
he's injured.
Hasaranga.
He's
Yeah,
injured.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they missed him, yeah. And they might want to
But the
bring
fast bowling,
somebody.
you can't complain about their fast bowling, Shah, because I mean these are the three that who are going to go in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
20
No,
World
no,
Cup. I mean
Pawan.
Samir
I'm
Binura.
not. I'm not talking about bowling. I'm just talking about the batting right now. At number
Okay,
3,
okay.
they missed one of their best batsmen, one of the most talented batsmen they have as Avishka
But Shah,
Fernando.
Shah, to come to that point,
Yeah,
usually I mean Charit Asalanka plays at number 3, and I think Sri Lanka cricket did the right choice of making Asalanka at 3. And I mean, sorry, Avishka's strike rate and average, if you go and see, it's around 12. If I'm not mistaken, 2020 internationals. I've gone through about twice, 4 times, so I do know about it. I mean, he
yeah,
hasn't done well at number 3. If he's playing, he should open, in my opinion. But we've got I mean, we have so many options in that opening. Kusan Mendis can bat at number 3,
yeah,
perhaps. So even, I mean,
yeah.
Kusan Mendis can bat
Precisely.
at 4. Yeah. So there's so
Yeah, see,
much competition right now.
even if you look at Danushka Gunatilka, he doesn't have a great T20 average either. I think it's either 17 or 18 at max. So, but
Yeah.
the thing right now is, I mean, no comparisons, but even Rishabh Pant has an awful T20I average. But the talent is there. He hasn't performed, but the talent is there. Yeah, I know this guy, Fernando, has played 30 odd games. He hasn't scored more than 300, 400 runs. But see, you can't open with him, right? Because you already have somebody like a Nisanka who is an anchor in himself. Also, playing Asalanka and Fernando at 3 and 4 might cause disparity, because both they've technically got 3 anchors in their top 4. And in T20s, you can't do that, right? You can't have 3 Pujaras out of 4, and no, not Pujaras, my bad, but yeah, 3 slow batsmen out of 4 in T20Is. So they might have to bring somebody like Dikwela in to balance it out. Shanaka, I think, should start performing on a more consistent basis, because if you could just open his statistics for me, I don't think he's done well consistent. He scored a
Yeah,
40
yeah,
odd today,
yes,
but
yes.
the conditions were there, tailor made for him.
No, but the
You know,
problem is, Shal, I think he should bet above Chandimal, because I think he's in better form right now. We saw that in
Pawan,
the Australian
Chandimal should
series
be out.
also.
Chandimal should be out. See, he's not a T20 guy. He's a good test guy. I think even if he plays in tests, I really don't mind. But if you
So do
talk
you
about
think Kusal
T20s,
Mendis will wicket keep then? Because Kusal Mendis no
no,
wicket
no, no,
keeping choice right
Pawan,
now.
see, you need quick runs in the middle order, right? And you also you might need a left-hander. So you bring Kusal Mendes in at 3 or 4, and then you bring
And
in
bring
a
a Dikwella.
Nirosh and yeah,
Dikwella in the
Dikwella.
middle order.
Yeah, Dikwella is
But
explosive.
don't you think Dikwella also suits in the opening slot? That's what he usually does in limited overs. I mean, in test only he bats in the middle order. That's the issue going on.
Yeah, see, the point is that if the opening slot they are very keen on giving it to Gunathilka, then
Yeah.
you can't do anything about it. And Dikwella can come in at 4 or 5, get 15-20 balls, score a quick 35-40. Also have I don't know, you must know better. Is Kushal Pereira not there anymore in the scheme of things? I
No,
mean,
he's injured. He's injured as well. He's out
yeah,
for 3 or 4
but
months.
he's considered. I mean, he'll be
Yeah,
considered for the
he's
T20 World Cup,
considering the
right?
plans, but I think they're trying to go ahead from Kusal Pereira and maybe I think they're
Mm-hmm.
focusing on Kusal Mendis and Anushka Gunatilaka opening alongside because Pathum Nisanka is fixed. There is no doubt Pathum Nisanka is
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
go out of
Nisanka
the
shouldn't be
opening
moved. He
slot
shouldn't be
after
moved.
that. After unless he has injury, that's obvious. And I think Kusal Mendis, I think, is a better player than Anushka in my opinion. I mean, in that Australia series, with the way he played, I mean, he played terrific. And I think one of them, I think Kusal Mendis can easily accelerate once he gets a half century, easily can accelerate. So I feel, and Asalanka at 3, I think you cannot fix his pace. I know he's having an awful run right now, but you're just putting him off the guard if you put him you try to make him better at 4 because he had a brilliant 2020 World Cup, and if you perform like that in a 2020 World Cup, you cannot shift Asalanka's place, right? I don't know about Gunatilak. He could be a backup for either, I think, Kusal or Nisanka. I'm not sure where
Yeah, I
Gunatilak,
don't
if he
think
wants, I
Gunathilaka
mean,
is
he can
I don't
open.
think Gunathilaka is good enough to start. I
Yeah,
don't
he
think so.
might be good enough to start, but the problem is Kusal Mendis is not good in the middle order. That's the biggest problem right now with Sri Lanka over the past 3 or 4 years is Kusal Mendis' ability in the 2020 cricket. I mean, that number 4, number 5 is the biggest concern right now that Sri Lanka has. I mean, it hasn't been just now, it has been in the past 2 or 3 years, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean Kusal Mendes. See, you and me both know Kusal Mendes is very very talented. But now it's a problem of playing for the same spot, because if you play Kusal Mendes and Nisanka, it will be similar to what Pakistan is in right now. They have two very good openers, but two openers who want to be anchors. So I don't want to go into Pakistan right now, but when
Sorry to
Pakistan,
interrupt, Amit. Sorry to interrupt, Amit. Here says this feels less like a podcast, more like a Twitter space. बोलना सबको है, सुना किसको नहीं.
That is only for Shah Srivastava. That's all.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll move on. And coming to Varun, some Sri Lankan fan is asking what's the meaning of Pushpa.
Pushpa is.
I can clear that on the behalf of Varun. Actually, it's a
Yeah.
movie. It's a movie which in which the starring is Allu Arjun and Rashmika Mandana. They both are
Yeah, just say
performing
that
well in
it's a
this.
moving. Let's not go to that brief of a
Rashmika
detail.
Mandana is
Because
Pawan's
Pushpa,
celebrity crush.
Pushpa means flower, man.
Not fire.
Not fire.
Yeah. So
Rohan,
this is his hook step which Sandy Baji was doing. If you have seen that in the first T20I where Ravindra Jadeja did it like that. So it's basically it's his hook step where he just does it hands beneath under
That's his
his
style.
beard.
That's his ego.
Yeah.
Tom, guys, Avishka Fernando is injured, guys. He's not there for 3 to 6 months. He has a knee injury, so he
Oh
won't be
my
there
God.
for half a year. So don't ask on Avishka because he's
We
injured.
can,
What kind of an injury is it?
I think it's a knee injury. I don't know whether I think it's a very severe injury, but I don't know. I think it's 3 to 6 months. That's the news
Guys, I
coming.
have to leave. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, no problem. We have to end it.
Let's
We have
hope.
to end
I
it
don't know. I
anyways.
genuinely hope Sri Lanka wins one last game.
Yeah,
I like the team, man.
hopefully, but yeah, let's see
Oh.
on that. But thank you so much. Yeah, Rohan here says let's finish it off also very quickly because we only have Varun and Tanish left. Power play batting is a bit slow, and number of dot balls and strike rotation in mid overs concern for Sri Lanka. Yes, definitely it's a.
New Zealand also does the same thing. They play slow in the power play and then accelerate in the death overs. That's also not a bad option.
Same with Bangladesh.
You don't
very
need to get a huge start to convert it into some 200. You saw it in I think New Zealand does it, as I said, Bangladesh does it, right? it's not a big issue. If you have the players in the middle order, they'll immediately accelerate.
Yeah, very true. So, guys, I think we'll end this. We did a long preview on this, and I'm also a bit busy, so I have to leave also. But thank you so much, Varun, also for taking your time, and Tanish also. And we'll be hopefully back on Monday for the review of India versus Sri Lanka. I don't think, unfortunately, tomorrow I'll be able to do the last 2020, but we'll have a full series review on this. And yeah, Amit here says DJ is bored out of his mind, and he's too polite to leave.
DJ.
DJ. I don't know who DJ is. I don't know what's with Amit Dubey, by the way. Thinking, but yeah. Thank you so much for the critics anyway. We'll also learn from that, and next time we'll come up with a better thing, also better planned on this. But Bhuvi and Bumrah were swinging the ball. Yeah, that's obvious. I mean, Bumrah, it's good to see Bumrah. I don't think you guys need Bumrah in the Sri Lanka series. Maybe rest him for the
We
Even
don't
on
even
this,
need Bumrah in white ball anymore because we have too many
Ashish
options.
even Ashish Nehra was making comment on this. He said that having Bumrah in the T20I series versus Sri Lanka doesn't make any sense, because if Bumrah comes in, then the chances of a lot of youngsters will suffer.
Very true. Yeah. But Varun, any final thoughts on India and the performance? I mean, Jadeja especially. Any more thoughts and any more lessons that India can take from this game, especially?
I mean, we're playing in under home conditions. We're batting second. I think that's really been our weakness, batting second. And, we finally won. We chased it within, I think, closed it within 18 overs.
17.1 overs.
Yeah, which is a good
17.1.
sign, right? We chased such a huge total in 17.1 overs. So that's a good sign, batting second. Going into the World Cup as well, we need to try these. So, when you already have the confidence that you're going to win the series, you have to take these risks in order to see where you succeed and where you fail, so you can improvise on that even a bit more. So I think this was a good move from India.
I think
Another
Dhananjaya
thing,
was a bit busy, Amit. That's why I think he left. I think he was referring to the Edges and Sledges podcast. He was a bit busy and he asked only for 40 minutes. If you are feeling it bored, please comment. I mean, comment after the video why you feel it's bored, and maybe we can correct on that for the next video, perhaps. Yeah. If you think that this is a Twitter space, because we can correct on that for sure as part of the sports breakdown. But yeah, anyways, thank you so much, Varun and Tanish. Once again, another Paytm trophy, and I think we'll move on to the test series. Obviously that will be more interesting. Hopefully I think Sri Lanka can contest in that at least. I mean, it's obviously going to be another whitewash for India as it looks. Hopefully Sri Lanka fights again.
it's only two tests, right?
Two
Yeah.
tests, one in Mohali and another one in Bengaluru. A
But I think
normal
in
test, and the
Mohali, no
second one is
fans by the way. No fans by
No
the way in
fans.
Mohali. Yeah, and only in
a
Bengaluru
ridiculous
only.
decision by BCCI.
I think less COVID
Politics.
cases in Mohali, right, compared to
No,
Bengaluru,
no,
Dharmashala, and
insane.
Lucknow.
No, only
It's good. It's good in
730 739 cases reported in the last 24 hours.
So it's a big joke, that they are not having having any fan or any capacity in Mohali right now.
And Bengaluru has more COVID cases than Mohali.
It's politics.
But
Politics
100
can
test
get
match for
involved.
Virat Kohli, by the way, and you don't have any fans. Who knows for that decision they made? They made no fans,
Maybe.
so spectators to come.
As I'm saying, it's politics. It's all inside politics.
Yeah. Hardik
Clear
here says
rift.
even ordinary fielding, except that catch, was the main reason for that failure. Yeah, I agree. When it comes to Sri Lanka, the fielding was bad. Anyways, thank you so much, guys. And yeah, see you in the next video. And please do follow Cricket Chat Score on Instagram. Please follow Cricket Under Stumps by Tanish on Instagram. Please subscribe to the Edges and Sledges podcast, Dhananjaya, who came today. And unfortunately, I had to leave. If anyone wanted to know, he asked only for 40 minutes, and I went beyond that. That's why he had to leave. So that's why. And also please do follow subscribe the Direct Hit Aryan's channel. Please follow him also on Instagram, the Direct Hit. Please follow Cricket Quizzes, also Venkat's channel, also on YouTube and Instagram. And till then, see you guys, and see you in the next video, guys. Thank you so much.